What is going on to you, Sagittarius? You actually have the Six of Pentacles, the Seven of Cups, and then you, Sagittarius, also have the Eight of Cups right here for you. Yeah. So what I'm seeing here for you, Sagittarius, right, is so excuse me. Yeah, that's interesting. Okay. What's interesting is the fact that a lot of you Sagittarius are actually a lot more stronger compared to how you used to be. Let me show you what I'm talking about. You're a lot stronger than what it is that you Sagittarius really used to be. Um I just see that you Sagittarius are able to contend or deal with a lot of different situations. Um, you know, a lot of you Sagittarius, excuse me, you really do reflect on uh when it is that you when it is that you Sagittarius would kind of rely on like people being uh fair with you as it is that when you try to be fair with them, and things didn't go that way. And a lot of you Sagittarius you learned that a lot of people are not going to be fair with you. A lot of you Sagittarius also learn to make good decisions. Um, Making bad decisions from the start can end up being a no-brainer, right? Like a no-brainer game changer, right? Meaning that it's something that should have been obvious, but you didn't practice it, and then now because you didn't practice the discernment, you're paying for it. You understand what I'm saying? And so you're learning that you should have made certain things, and there's a lot of accountability there on your part. There's a lot of you Sagittarius understanding, like, you shouldn't have did this, you shouldn't have did that, you shouldn't have did this. And I talk about it before, like, why do I tell my stories? Why do I talk about it? Like, why do I tell my experiences? And to really tell the things that I've learned, my ups, my downs, my triumphs, and my failures. Because a lot of the times people talk to you about the good stuff that it is that they've done or how they've prevailed, but a lot of the times people don't talk about their faults and their follies and the things that they've actually done that isn't up to par, isn't on point, isn't, or very least wasn't there's good decisions that they've ever made. And so a lot of you Sagittarius, you understand that you are learning to be more okay. What is this? Oh, you're learning to be more okay with understanding that you have to choose the people around you wisely. Choose your significant other, choose the family members whom you want to hang out with, if any at all. Choose the friends that you want to hang out with, if any at all. Just be very mindful about that. And you've come a long way because you are a lot stronger because of it, right? You're a lot more a lot of you Sagittarius may be a lot more focused. Again, you still get the scatter mind, right? That's a Sagittarius thing. But you will still be able to focus. You'll still be able to focus and understand what's going on, and figure things out, and still be okay with your circumstances, right? The Ten of Wands and the Knight of Wands right here speaks to how, and there's not a whole lot that can there's not a whole lot of people that could really bother you too much like that anymore. Now, granted, Sagittarius was always the calmest fire sign of the three. Between Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius, you Sagittarius were always the most calm out of the three, right? Um, and but at the same time, of course, you still have your temper. Your patience does have an end to it. More so specifically, maybe your patience, but even more than that, your tolerance has more of a finite thing to it than your patience does, because you'll understand the situation, but it will make you upset that people want to play games with you. Anyway, the point that I'm trying to make here is that the Ten of Wands and the Knight of Wands shows a great level of maturity for you Sagittarius, because it represents the peace of mind that a lot of you Sagittarius have, where, you know, even when people try to get you on your nerves, it's just not going to work. It's just not going to work. It's not going to do it. Right? You have accomplished too much, and you've probably learned too much from your faults and your follies and the things that you did right. So now it's a sense of like, a person gonna have to really work hard, which is gonna make them look even worse, to really get you upset. Because you get to a point, and I've talked about this before, right? You get to a point where you get you work through your emotions. See, the problem is that part of why it is that life got to be so difficult, sun shining, why it is that life got to be so difficult sometimes is due to the fact that, like, you still have emotional baggage. When you work through and process that emotion and you get rid of the emotional baggage, you reach to a point where you get a lot of peace. And then once it is that you've got to a point where there's a lot of internal peace, there's not a whole lot of stuff that could really bother you and stuff like that anymore. Patience gets longer, and you know that the best way to ultimately build patience is to endure. People around you sometimes are going to be stupid. So the point that I'm trying to make here with that is the Seven of Swords, the Scorpio energy, and the Four of Cups speaks to how a lot of you Sagittarius, you'll just put up boundaries. Like, it's not even that big of a deal, right? And then the Four of Cups represents and it'll just make them look stupid, because if they would have tried to play a game with you, the answer is simple. Put up boundaries with them. Don't hang out with them anymore. Let them fall by the wayside of your life. For real, let them fall by the wayside in your life. What I mean when I say let them fall, don't hang out with them again. Simple like that. And then you have the Three of Cups and the Devil card, right? And you move on with yours. Don't, what I'm saying? Don't think of think of a nice warm sunny day. Sun out, sun bright over here. The wind is blowing. It's nice and cool, It's not cold, but it's nice and cool breeze. Think of something like that. Nice greenery, a lot of trees and stuff like. Even though I live in New York City, still there's a lot of trees, a lot of shade. My room even has plants and stuff like this, right? I have plants in my room. I have plants in my room. A lot of greenery here. And just think about that. Think about how, don't let anybody, mess with you. Mess with your emotions to get y'all all riled up and stuff. The reason why I'm saying that is because when you live in your life, it's like they're not the only thing in your life. And they're not supposed to be the only thing in your life. You're supposed to have other things going on as well. If I'm really going to tell the truth, you should have other things going on. See, and I've talked about this before, right? Part of the reason why it is that people are able to get on your nerves is because, you know, the majority of it, not all the time, but the majority of the times, right, is because the fact that you've allowed them to triangulate you. You know, you making you every direction you see only them. You only think about them in every direction. And so because of that, this person can press your buttons. But what happens when, okay, you may keep them in mind, you do consider them, and you do take a person seriously, but at the same time, you have other things going on, respectfully. Now, if they pull some nonsense with you, your life doesn't stop. You know, life goes on, right? You're still gonna go out to dinner with your friends. You're still gonna go to the gym and work out. You're still gonna, for the people who've traveled, for the people who want to travel, you're still gonna travel. You're still gonna do all that stuff. So the Three of Cups and the Devil card right here speaks to how you, Sagittarius, are in a space where, and that's the point in which you have gotten to. A lot of other people will consider you the devil, but only because they can't press your buttons. I've talked about this a few times before, right? But maybe I may need to elaborate and talk about it as well, that, you know, everybody is so caught up with the devil and looking at the devil as the villain of the story. I'm not. What I'm trying to say here is it's the concept, it's the principle, it's the fact that when people do not understand you, or they're running an agenda that goes against you and what you represent, they will always make you seem like you are 100% at fault. It's called a psyop. If you don't believe me, I could show you the evidence to that. It's called a psyop. So people will try to make you into the devil archetype, the 100% villain. So what I'm trying to say here is that it is not as simplistic as good or evil, right? You, Sagittarius, you're, you know, I mean, my gosh, Drake told you. Drake said, why is it that another one's success brings pain, right? In a song with Timbaland being the producer and the person who raps it himself. Drake and Timbaland is called Say Something, right? Where Drake said, it's funny how somebody else's success brings pain. They're gonna, you know, so you don't need to worry about that. Don't be having survivor's remorse. It is what it is. You feel me? Let's clarify the devil card. Y'all have gotten to a point where most people on earth will never get to, which is internal peace. Internal peace. The Seven of Wands, the Eight of Wands, the Sun card. See? Seven of Swords, the Nine of Swords. Right. You know? You don't, right. Like, you don't have to put on all this excessive protection and all that, because you're not sensitive anymore like that. We all were sensitive, tender, and all of that. You're not as sensitive like that. You have thicker skin. So for you, you'll just put up a boundary with them by creating space, staying away from them, you know, hanging out with them selectively at times, you know. But life goes on. The Sun card, money, abundance, popularity, enjoying your life. Seven of Swords, Nine of Swords, and then being upset. When I say they, I'm talking about anyone right now, that tries to give you a hard time. Anytime you come around them, they super clumsy, something always breaking, something. Every time they trying to do something to hurt you or do something like that, you know, friend, not reliable, stuff like this. They're jealous of you. So that's pretty much it for now. Comment on the video, like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, share the video. Trying to get the YouTube channel to 200K. I'm at 23,283 subscribers. Smash the subscribe button, smash the like button, hit the notification bell, set the notification bell to all so you can be notified whenever I drop my videos. And if you'd like to contact me for a personal reading, the link to that is in the comment section below, called the Linktree link. Peace. Have a good one, y'all.